Welcome to Trump Rewind. 10. The shocking truth behind Trump's impeachment trials. Donald Trump's presidency was defined by controversies, including impeachment over pressuring Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden and accusations of inciting the January 6 Capitol riot. His actions raised national security concerns, violated presidential duties, and involved blocking witnesses and documents, complicating accountability throughout his tenure. This channel covers news and public events related to Donald Trump for informational purposes only. We do not endorse or oppose any political party or figure. Number 1. Abuse of power, Ukraine call. The Ukraine call controversy centers around a July 2019 phone conversation between former U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. In this call, Trump allegedly pressured Zelensky to investigate Joe Biden and his son, Hunter Biden, who was involved with a Ukrainian energy company. At the same time, Trump was withholding nearly $400 million in military aid that Ukraine desperately needed amid its ongoing conflict with Russia. Critics argued that Trump abused his power as president by leveraging critical foreign aid to gain personal political favors. This raised questions about national security, U.S. foreign policy, and the president's willingness to exploit his office for personal gain. The incident was a major factor in Trump's first impeachment, highlighting concerns about the limits of presidential power and the ethical obligations of leaders. Number 2. Obstruction of Congress. The charge of obstruction of Congress stems from Trump's refusal to cooperate with the impeachment inquiry following the Ukraine call. When the House of Representatives initiated an investigation into Trump's actions, his administration actively prevented key witnesses from testifying and withheld crucial documents requested by Congress. This lack of transparency hindered Congress's ability to conduct a thorough and fair investigation. Trump's actions were seen as an attempt to stonewall the legislative branch, undermining the constitutional balance of powers between Congress and the presidency. By obstructing Congress, Trump was accused of impeding the oversight function of the legislative branch, which plays a vital role in holding the executive accountable. This led to one of the 2 formal impeachment charges brought against him. Number 3. Withholding military aid to Ukraine. In 2019, Trump delayed nearly $400 million in congressionally approved military aid to Ukraine at a time when the country was locked in a conflict with Russia. The military aid was crucial for Ukraine's defense, but Trump allegedly used it as leverage to pressure Ukraine into launching an investigation into his political rival, Joe Biden. This act of withholding aid sparked outrage and became a cornerstone of the impeachment inquiry, as it appeared that Trump was prioritizing his personal political gain over U.S. foreign policy and national security. The delay in aid also sent a troubling message to U.S. allies, raising concerns about America's commitment to its international obligations. While the aid was eventually released, the reasons behind its delay remained a major point of contention. Number 4. Pressuring Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. The allegation that Trump pressured Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden revolves around the July 2019 phone call in which Trump asked Ukrainian President Zelensky to probe Biden's involvement in Ukrainian affairs. Biden, who was a leading Democratic candidate in the 2020 presidential election, had a son, Hunter, who was involved with a Ukrainian energy company. Trump's request to Zelensky raised alarms because it appeared to be an attempt to use foreign influence to undermine a political rival. Moreover, Trump's simultaneous withholding of military aid made the situation appear to be a quid pro quo, in which foreign policy and U.S. security interests were being used as bargaining chips. This incident sparked intense debate about presidential ethics, the boundaries of executive power, and the influence of foreign governments in American elections. Number 5. Incitement of insurrection, Capitol riot. The charge of incitement of insurrection focuses on Trump's role in the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot. On that day, Trump held a rally in Washington, D.C., where he continued to falsely claim that the 2020 presidential election had been stolen from him due to widespread voter fraud. During his speech, Trump urged his supporters to fight like hell and march to the Capitol to prevent Congress from certifying Joe Biden's victory. Shortly after, a violent mob stormed the Capitol, causing chaos and destruction as lawmakers were forced to flee. Trump was accused of inciting the insurrection by fueling his supporters' anger with baseless claims of election fraud and calling for direct action. This event led to Trump's second impeachment and raised serious concerns about the fragility of democratic institutions and the potential for political violence. Number 6. False claims of election fraud. Following the 2020 presidential election, Trump repeatedly made false claims that the election had been rigged against him through widespread voter fraud. Despite numerous investigations, audits, and court rulings confirming the legitimacy of the election results, Trump and his allies continued to promote these unsubstantiated allegations. These false claims not only undermined public confidence in the electoral process, but also led to widespread mistrust in the integrity of the U.S. democratic system. Trump's refusal to concede the election and his insistence on pushing false narratives contributed to deep divisions within the country. His rhetoric fueled the anger and frustration of his supporters, culminating in the January 6 Capitol riot and further polarizing the American political landscape. Number 7. Call to Georgia officials to find votes. On January 2, 2021, Trump made a phone call to Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, pressuring him to find 11,780 votes, just enough to overturn Joe Biden's victory in the state. In the call, Trump repeatedly pushed Raffensperger and other officials to alter the results, suggesting that their failure to do so could result in legal consequences. The recorded phone call sparked outrage, as it was seen as a blatant attempt to interfere with the outcome of a legitimate election. Trump's request to find votes was widely condemned as an abuse of power and a threat to the integrity of the electoral process. This incident became part of a broader investigation into Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election, raising questions about the lengths to which he was willing to go to cling to power. Number 8. Blocking witnesses and documents during first impeachment. During Trump's first impeachment trial, which focused on the Ukraine scandal, his administration took steps to block witnesses from testifying and withheld key documents that were central to the investigation. Several important officials, including Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney and former National Security Advisor John Bolton, were prevented from providing testimony. This obstruction hindered Congress's ability to fully investigate the allegations against Trump. By blocking access to critical information, Trump was accused of obstructing justice and undermining the constitutional principle of checks and balances. His refusal to cooperate with the impeachment inquiry highlighted broader concerns about transparency, accountability, and the rule of law within the executive branch. Number 9. Rudy Giuliani's role in Ukraine scandal. Rudy Giuliani, Trump's personal attorney, played a key role in the Ukraine scandal that led to Trump's first impeachment. Giuliani acted as Trump's point man in pushing Ukrainian officials to investigate Joe Biden and his son, Hunter. Operating outside of formal diplomatic channels, Giuliani orchestrated meetings with Ukrainian officials, lobbying them to dig up dirt on Biden that could be used in the 2020 election. His actions were seen as part of a broader effort to pressure Ukraine into taking steps that would benefit Trump's political prospects. Giuliani's unconventional and secretive role in conducting foreign policy raised serious concerns about the boundaries of presidential power, the use of unofficial channels for diplomatic negotiations, and the potential for conflicts of interest in U.S. foreign relations. Number 10. Pardoning allies involved in investigations. During his presidency, Trump used his pardon power to shield several allies who were implicated in legal investigations. Among those pardoned were key figures such as Roger Stone, Paul Manafort, and Michael Flynn, all of whom had been convicted or charged in connection with the Mueller investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. Critics argued that Trump's use of pardons for these individuals was an abuse of presidential authority, as it appeared to be motivated by personal loyalty rather than justice. The pardoning of political allies raised concerns about the erosion of accountability and the potential for corruption within the executive branch. By using his pardon power to protect his inner circle, Trump was seen as undermining the integrity of the justice system and the rule of law. Thanks for watching Trump Rewind. Stay tuned for more unforgettable moments and insights from Trump's legacy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for your daily rewind.